Yeah, we back. Now, today's video is going to be a follow-up video to the one I dropped earlier today or last night entitled, Nigeria's Air Force Violates the AES Airspace. General President Assimi Goita responded and said, shoot down unauthorized planes. Go check that video out. Fire video, right? Definitely check that out first before you jump into this one, because this is basically the part 2. So now we have some follow-up information. Now we have a response from the Nigerian government. And of course, I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions on that. But for those of y'all who didn't watch part 1, basically in part 1, in that first video, we discussed the Nigerian military aircraft, a C-130, that entered the airspace of Burkina Faso without authorization, according to the authorities. The AES treated it as a violation of their sovereign space, and they released a statement saying that the plane had no authorization to penetrate the airspace, and that triggered an investigation. And also, President Assimi Goita, the leader of the Confederation, he put out a statement stamped with his own signature saying that any unauthorized plane that penetrates the airspace will be shot down, will be neutralized. Now, he was not talking to Nigeria particularly specifically. He was saying in general, right? Any plane that is flying into the airspace unidentified, unauthorized, will be shot down without warning, right? Now, we have finally received a response from the Nigerian government, so we're going to be discussing that in today's video. And also, I want to give a disclaimer. Also, remember, always be sure to understand to never confuse the actions of, for example, Tinubu, the president of Nigeria. The thoughts, opinions, and actions of Tinubu represent Tinubu alone by himself. Nigerians are a very large community, so you can't really minimize the thoughts and opinions of hundreds of millions of Nigerians to the thoughts and opinions of one man, right? For example, President Mohamed Bazoum, the previous president of Niger, he was a French stooge. He was a puppet of France, even worse than Tinubu, right? He signed like a 50-year deal with France for the uranium, right? So he was 10 times worse than Tinubu. But of course, we would never minimize the thoughts and opinions of Mohamed Bazoum when he was in office to the entire population of Niger, right? Because obviously right now, President Chiani, His Excellency General Chiani, he's the one in power right now. And as you can see, the French, they lost access to the uranium. So a new leader can always come into power and realign everything. So Tinubu's not going to be here forever. He's already an elderly man. He's an old man. He got all types of health problems, right? Trust me, his health is terrible. So he's not even going to be living that much longer. So, Tinubu, I don't want y'all to just take the actions of Tinubu and then dump it on the entire Nigerian population. Just like I wouldn't take the actions and thoughts of President Alassane Ouattara of Ivory Coast and then put it on the entire population of Ivory Coast. There are many individuals in Ivory Coast who are Pan-Africanists who do want to see their nation liberated from the shackles of French imperialism. Just like in Nigeria, there are many Pan-Africanists and many Nigerians who love their people. But of course, as history has shown us, those of us who love our people, it's very difficult for us to get into power, right? As soon as we get into power, all of a sudden the foreign intelligence, they start launching destabilization operations. They start launching slander campaigns in the international media because, of course, those of us who love our people, we represent a threat to the social order, the economic order, the world order, right? So unfortunately, that's how it is. So it's very difficult for us to get into power. And when we do get into power, they do everything to undermine and sabotage and remove us from power and sometimes remove us from existence. So that's the reality, unfortunately, that the black man has to deal with. But anyway, let's get into these articles. Let's get into the updates on the situation. As you can see, Burkina Faso accuses the Nigerian Air Force of violating its airspace. Let's get into this one. 11 Nigerian military officers were briefly detained in Burkina Faso after their aircraft made an emergency landing in the country, according to Burkina-based security sources. The Air Force C-130 aircraft entered Burkina Faso airspace on Monday, yesterday, without authorization, according to Burkina Faso Territorial Administration Minister Emile Zerbo. In a joint statement, the military governments of the AES, Burkina, Mali, and Niger said their prompt investigation confirmed the violation of the airspace and the sovereignty of the member states. The Burkina Faso authorities told the British broadcasting company that the soldiers were released and given permission to fly back to Nigeria. Now, shout out to the captain, shout out to the General President Assimi Goita. Now, keep in mind, like I said, there's been a French intelligence agent by the name of Yann Vezelier, a lieutenant colonel in the French Air Force, who has been in jail in Mali since back in August, going on 4 months, right? and we didn't let them out yet, but we let our brothers out. So I like that. I like the fact that we let our brothers out. Listen, we family. You know what it is. We can talk about it amongst each other. That's the same thing I said in my community tab yesterday, right? We don't got to beef. We don't got to listen. We could talk it out, sort it out, figure out what's going on, conduct an investigation, right? But you notice how we let our brothers go. But when it came to the French intelligence agent, yeah, he's still sitting in jail. Yeah, he not going nowhere. Yeah, you spending Christmas in Bamako. Yeah. So like I said, man, like I said, I like that. I like that. Nobody got hurt. Tensions were not escalated. And it seems, you know, the brothers were able to talk it out. And due to the fact that it was military personnel from Nigeria that was arrested, then I'm sure they got that commonality, you know, military men to military men. So I'm sure, you know, the brothers had their own conversation amongst each other, figured out what was going on, right? They gave the warning, right? Don't do it again, bro. Don't do it again. If you do it again, I'm shooting the plane out of the sky, right? Don't do it again. It's all love, bro. It's all love. I ain't tripping. I ain't tripping. Just don't do it again, man. You know, and don't fly into the airspace undetected. Don't fly into the airspace undercover without your identification. You're not even showing me who you are. Like, come on, bro. Let's do everything above the board so we don't have any confusion and we can avoid any negative situations. So I don't end up, you know, accidentally shooting the plane out of the sky, because if you don't identify yourself and I shoot the plane out of the sky, and then later on I found out that it was you, then it's going to be a whole big diplomatic fiasco. So let's do everything above the board. Let's not do anything under the table. Let's keep it, you know, 100%, right? But like I said, the French spy, yeah, he's still sitting in jail. He's not going nowhere, right? Take a look up on the screen, right? Suspected French spy accused of a plot to overthrow the Malian government. Yeah, he's not going nowhere. He's spending Christmas with us. He's spending the holidays with us. He's kicking it with us. He's not going nowhere. His family going to be missing him for the holidays. But when it came to our brothers, listen, go back to Abuja, bro. Go back to Lagos and don't do it again. Go back to Lagos and don't do it again. But the plane, we got to keep the plane here, though. The plane got to stay here, though. We'll sort everything out with the plane later. The plane is not going nowhere, not yet. But you can go. You can go back home, bro. Don't worry. But the plane, we're going to figure it out later. But anyways, I want to get into the official statement from the representatives at the Nigerian government speaking on the situation. Let's get into it. He said this: the Nigerian Air Force wishes to clarify reports regarding the diversion of an NAF C-130 aircraft during a ferry mission to Portugal on the 8th of December 2025. Following takeoff from Lagos, the crew observed a technical concern which necessitated a precautionary landing in Bobo Dioulasso, Burkina Faso, the nearest airfield, in accordance with standard safety procedures and international aviation protocols. The Nigerian Air Force crew is safe and have received cordial treatment from the host authorities. As you can see, even the Nigerian government said that the brothers treated them excellent, right? We treated our brothers excellent. We did not treat them like prisoners, and we treated them excellent, bro. Kick it. Come on, bro. You know, we got to figure it out. Just sit down for me real quick. Just sit down and I'll figure it out. It's all good. It's all love, right? Treated our brothers like, you know, like family. You know how we do it. You know what I'm saying? Plans are ongoing to resume the mission as scheduled. The Nigerian Air Force appreciates the support received during this period and assures the public that the Nigerian Air Force remains professionally committed to strict compliance with operational procedures and safety standards, ensuring the protection of its personnel while fulfilling its constitutional mandate. Now, I'll be honest, if you want my honest opinion about that statement from the Nigerian politician, whoever that was, I'll be honest, man, it sounds like some BS. Sounds like some nonsense, man. It just sounds like some funny business. I'll be honest with you. That's my opinion. Number one, there's really no need to even cross over into the airspace of the AES or Burkina Faso in order to get to Portugal. You can pretty much just stay around the West African coast and go straight to Lisbon, right? So that's number one. That's the first inconsistency, in my opinion, when I'm looking at the map. Number two, if it was just, we just taking a trip to Portugal, a ferry mission to Portugal, then you can easily notify the authorities, let them know that we're going to be penetrating the airspace. Number two, right? You would give them the heads up. You would give them the notice, and you would not be flying unidentified into the airspace. Number one, because that's a risk to your life and everybody on board. If you're a pilot of that plane and you're flying unidentified into an airspace, then you're risking death. Why would you risk death for no reason, right? That doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? And also in the statement, he didn't really explain why they were flying unidentified. He didn't really, and also you notice that he didn't debunk the statements of the AES. The AES said that you are flying unauthorized into the airspace, right? Unidentified, undetected, with no permission, no authorization. You notice they did not address the main point. They did not address the main point, the main problem. You are flying into the airspace undetected with no permission, unannounced. That was the main issue that was not even addressed. Now, if it was really just a little trip to Portugal and back, then it would be no reason to have your identification off, right? Identify your aircraft. Why are you flying undercover, undetected, unannounced, right? And also, Portugal is part of NATO. That is NATO airspace. And I know for a fact, I bet every dollar in my bank account that they would never fly into Portuguese airspace, NATO airspace, undetected, unannounced, without authorization, because you know for a fact that your plane will be treated like a hostile aircraft. You would be forced to land. You might be shot down, right? Because that is NATO airspace. And I'm pretty sure that you respect NATO airspace. So if you respect NATO airspace, let's give our brothers that same respect. Let's respect each other's sovereignty, our airspace. Let's make sure when you're flying through the airspace, let them know, listen, brothers, I'm about to come through. Look out for me, right? Make sure that you have your identification on. Identify your aircraft as a friendly aircraft so we can avoid these, this diplomatic confusion. Now, if you want my honest opinion, now this is just my thoughts. I'm not giving any confirmation on what's happening behind the scenes, but due to previous situations that we've discussed on the channel, previous scenarios that we've encountered on the channel, I believe that whole statement, we're just going to Portugal, it was just a little emergency landing en route to Portugal, things like that. I believe that statement sounds so similar to the explanations and statements that we received from the French government whenever we caught them engaging in espionage. You remember when the French, back in 2023, when the captain arrested 4 agents of the French government and they said that, we're not engaging in espionage. We're just computer technicians here to fix the computers at the embassy, right? That bullshit statement, that nonsensical statement, right? And then 4 months ago, when that agent in Mali got arrested, he said, I'm not an agent. I'm just a staffer at the embassy. I'm a worker at the embassy. Come to find out, he's a damn lieutenant colonel in the French Air Force and a member of the DGSE, the French intelligence. But they said, I'm just a computer geek. I'm just an embassy worker. So now when I examine this scenario with this aircraft that flew into the AES, and we know, like I said, the president of Nigeria, he's best friends with Emmanuel Macron, the president of France. This explanation sounds like it came directly from the DGSE. Because the DGSE is the only individuals who come up with the most nonsensical explanations when they get caught engaging in espionage. And everything about this scenario, it seems like this was an espionage type of situation, gathering intelligence. Some people in my comment section said maybe they might be testing the air defense capabilities of the AES, right? Are they able to detect aircrafts coming into the skies undetected? How quick is their response time? Are they able to take down a plane? Are they able to communicate? Do they have a certain military technology to where they could defend themselves against an aerial assault, right? So some people say this might have been a test run to see what military capacity the AES has in their arsenal. And this is very common. The Russians do this. The Chinese do this. The Americans do this. Fly into an airspace undetected, unauthorized, unannounced, just to test and see their military capability, just to test and see their military capacity, right? The Americans got caught doing this. The Russians, remember back in the 1960s, there was an American pilot that got caught by the Soviets because he was conducting some, undercover flight, right? Listen, this is very common in the world of geopolitics, military intelligence. Let me test your military capabilities. Let me test your defense capabilities by invading your airspace undetected, unannounced, and let me see how you react. Now, why would they do this? I don't think the Nigerians particularly care about the defense capabilities of the AES, but President Tinubu, who we already know is in bed with President Macron, and President Tinubu, who sees himself as a regional enforcer of democracy, right? He sees himself as the international defender of democracy, right? So I can totally see Macron and Tinubu having a conversation where they planning this out. And of course, those Nigerian military personnel, they're simply pawns on the chessboard. I'm not going to go too hard on them. If Tinubu says jump, they got to jump. That's part of the job description, right? But I also believe that this was also a direct act of provocation, because what if they actually shot down the plane? That would give not only Nigeria, but also France and also all the Western allies of Nigeria to also go into the AES guns blazing as justification for the deaths of those Nigerian military personnel. So the fact that they were willing to sacrifice the Nigerian military personnel, that is crazy, because that's the chance you take when you go into an airspace unauthorized, right? That's the chance you take. So in summary, I do not buy their side of the story. I I don't believe what the Nigerian politician said when he said, oh, we're just flying to Portugal, minding our business with our identification off, with no transponders, undetected, flying undercover, flying into Burkina Faso, where we could just go a whole different route. But anyway, like I said, none of that shit made sense at all. It's the same exact feeling I got when we caught those French agents and they made up some nonsensical excuse. Oh, I'm just a computer technician, right? I'm just here to fix the computers at the embassy, the computer viruses. I'm here to clean the computers. And then the other French agent, I'm just a counselor at the embassy, right? I help with the passports, right? And then, of course, months later, a year later, then they come out with the truth. But in the moment, the French, they never tell the truth. They always come out with the truth later down the line after the fact. They always be like, you know what? You got me. You got me, brother. You got me. Listen, I'll admit it. You got me. Listen, you caught me red-handed, man. You caught me with my hand in the cookie jar, man. Listen, you got me. You got it. You got it. Right? But in the moment, they never tell the truth. Now, this is the latest nonsensical excuse. Oh, I'm just flying to Portugal. Listen, that came straight from the DGSE. The DGSE always got some ready-made nonsensical excuse and justification for why they got caught doing something. Oh, I was going to church. And listen, the DGSE is funny as hell, bro. They always got some crazy nonsensical statement. Man, I was just driving a school bus, you know. Man, the French are funny, man. Listen, the adversary, he's funny as hell, man. The adversary funny as hell. Adversary funny as hell, man. But yeah, shout out to the captain. You know, we let our brothers go. Fly back home, man. Fly back home. But the plane got to stay with us, though. The plane has to stay with us. But in terms of the way they handled it, I loved it. Right? I loved it. Nobody got hurt. They opened an investigation. They released a statement. They were very responsible and diplomatic in the way that they handled it. And the warning was extremely clear. Any aircraft violating the airspace will be neutralized, right? No ambiguity. We telling you straight up. Listen, go back home, bro. Don't try it again. And that was an indirect shot to France. And listen, that goes for France too. If you come into the airspace unannounced, listen, we got some hot shit for you too. We got some hot fire for you too. So anyway, it's your boy Nefakari, the Salim, back in the Billy S&D. Second single off the next project is Fire and Bamako. Pin comment at the top. Link in the description. Support the Patreon, NTD 1814. And I'm gone. Peace. And just for the disclaimer, we don't promote violence, no violence. When I said we got some hot shit, I got some hot commentary for the French. I got some hot commentary for the French. I'm not promoting no violence. All right, no violence. Anyway, I'm going, man.
Feel like a see me, I feel like I'm Saudi or ran up on Yana in the middle of Bamako. Enemy line, they claiming he innocent. Don't do no talking, I gotta move militant. Don't do no talking, I hit them with facts. 1804, bringing it back. 1804 like I'm Upper Cap Henry. King with the vision, the crown never empty. Top of the mountain, my soldiers defend me. Ducking and dodging the foreign intelligence. Hitting my dance on the DGSE. Dodging they traps, still on my feet. Feeling impeccable, feel like I'm shining. Go to my neck and I'm flooded with diamonds. Go to my neck and I feel like a mess. Feel like a lion, I'm in the savannah. Feel like the king when I'm up in the jungle. Never defeated, I never been humble. Come out victorious every encounter. Money machine give me help when I count it. Money machine stack it up in a beat. Heart of a king and I ride for the team. Weight of the world got it stuck on my shoulders. Bet you can feel it, my heart getting colder. Yeah, gotta stay focused so when it's in shots, I gotta react. Cause I'm a target, I'm under attack. Grabbing a weapon, I tell her get back. Mission exposed, secrets unfold. Enemy try, but I'm still in control. Got your boy sitting in Bamako prison, hoping they wish we sending them home. Enemy know that we good under pressure. Been through the thunderous, turbulent storm. Shorty a diamond, I told her she pressure. Hop in a whip and I'm taking her home. Hop in a whip and I'm swerving, I'm smashed. Killing my enemies, one of my passion. Rocking this gold like we in bikini. Feel like the captain, I'm clutching a heater. Yeah, gotta stay focused so when it's in shots, I gotta react. Cause I'm a target, I'm under attack. Grabbing a weapon, I tell her get back. Mission exposed, secrets unfold. Enemy try, but I'm still in control. Got your boy sitting in Bamako prison, hoping they wish we sending them home. Enemy know that we good under pressure. Been through the thunderous, turbulent storm. Shorty a diamond, I told her she pressure. Hop in a whip and I'm taking her home. Hop in a whip and I'm swerving, I'm smashed. Killing my enemies, one of my passion. Rocking this gold like we in bikini. Feel like the captain, I'm clutching a heater.